I was in the midst of a high-level verbal sparring match with my online boyfriend. Zane sent a voice message, his deep, magnetic voice tingling through my ears like an electric current, making them go numb. "Darling, are you sure you don't want to see my muscles? I just finished my workout, and my eight-pack is perfectly defined." I scoffed, my fingers flying across the keyboard. "Send it over, let's see. But I'm warning you, if it's not as good as actor Aiden's, I'm breaking up with you on the spot. I'm a very practical girl." 3 months ago, Jasmine King, who had sworn to be happily single for the rest of my life, fell hard for a voice. Zane was my online hubby. We met on a programming forum. I was ranting about a messy code that crashed my company's server, and Zane chimed in, pointing out a critical security flaw. From then on, we went from casual battle partners to soulmates without even realizing it. Zane claimed to be an ordinary programmer, a few years older than me, living in the same city. He never sent photos. Neither did I. We had a silent agreement to only court each other through voice messages and texts. And oh my God, Zane was exactly my type. He was smart, funny, knew how to tease me until my face flushed, but was also gentle enough to know when to stop. And his voice, just that voice alone was enough to make me utterly melt. Like now, Zane's voice was back. "Actor Aiden, what's he got? My muscles are for protecting you, not for showing off." I was about to type back, "So you'll protect me over the internet, huh?" when my bedroom door was violently kicked open. Bang. My father, Mr. Kevin King, CEO of a slowly developing construction company, stormed in with a face as if I had just blown up his factory. "Jasmine King, are you still sitting there glued to your phone? All the guests have arrived, only you're missing. Do you want to embarrass me?" I quickly turned off the screen, hiding Zane away. "Dad, I told you I'm not going. It's just your friend's birthday party. What am I supposed to do there? I don't know anyone." "If you don't know anyone, then go and get to know them," my father hissed, tossing a formal gown in front of me. "Mr. Carter's son is also here today. He just returned from abroad, such an exceptional young man. Go over there and say hello." Ah, so it was a trap. Mr. Ben Carter, Daniel's father, was my father's childhood best friend. I heard they started their businesses together back in the day, but Mr. Carter was luckier, shooting up like a kite in the wind. Now, he's the chairman of Carter Group, a leading tech empire. My father, on the other hand, was still developing slowly. And that exceptional young man, I'd heard about him for a long time, Daniel Carter, a legend, the sole heir of Carter Group. Rumor had it he was an IT genius, but his personality? How should I put it? Ascetic was the mildest word people used to describe him. My father clearly wanted to sell me off. I picked up the dress and frowned. "Dad, are you sure you want me to wear this to meet that genius? If I wear this, he won't just be ascetic, he'll become completely celibate on the spot." My father's face turned red with anger. "If you don't go, I'll cut off all your cards, and your Wi-Fi too." My father always kept his word. 10 minutes later, I stood in front of the mirror. "Jasmine King, you're really going places." I was wearing the fluorescent pink gown, but over it, I draped a tattered denim jacket. My hair was piled high in a messy bun, and my face was completely bare. Let's see how ascetic that genius truly was. The party was held at the Carter Group villa, so luxurious that my tattered jacket felt like it was screaming in agony. My father dragged me around, introducing me to everyone, trying to ignore my apocalyptic fashion statement. "Ah, Ben, long time no see. This is my daughter, Jasmine." My father beamed, pushing me towards a distinguished-looking middle-aged man. Mr. Carter looked me up and down, his gaze lingering on my denim jacket for a few seconds. "Jasmine, you've grown so big, you're pretty and sassy, just like old Kevin King back in his day." Mr. Carter chuckled, but it was clearly a practiced, corporate smile. My father laughed heartily, but I knew he was gritting his teeth. "Where's Daniel, Mr. Carter?" I decided to get straight to the point. It was just a blind date. Let's get it over with quickly so I can go chat with Zane. Mr. Carter pointed towards the balcony. I followed his gaze, a tall, straight figure in a perfectly tailored suit. He stood with his back to us, holding a glass of red wine. The silver moonlight illuminated his broad shoulders, creating a sense of solitude that was incredibly alluring. Just his back was enough to make me swallow. This feeling was too familiar. "Daniel, come here." Mr. Carter called, and the man slowly turned around. The moment his face was revealed under the dazzling chandelier lights, the glass of juice in my hand nearly met its demise. It was a face so handsome it was illogical. A high, straight nose, thin, tightly pressed lips, and especially his eyes. Deep, narrow phoenix eyes, as cold as a starless night sky. But the problem wasn't that he was handsome. The problem was that 2 days ago, I, in a rush because I had overslept, coffee in one hand, bread in the other, charged into the CEO's private elevator at my company. I was an intern at a subsidiary of Carter Group. The elevator doors closed. I was engrossed in texting Zane when the elevator stopped in the basement. The doors opened, and a man stepped in. I didn't look up, just stepped back to make room and tripped over my own feet. I tumbled head over heels, the coffee cup in my hand splashing a perfect parabola onto the man's pristine white shirt. From his chest down to a rather sensitive area. I looked up and faced the same stone-cold face of Daniel Carter I saw now. He looked at me, then down at the coffee stains spreading across his pants. He didn't say a word, just frowned. I panicked, quickly pulling out a sanitary pad from my bag. I swear I grabbed the wrong thing. Sorry, here, take this. The air in the elevator thickened, becoming suffocating. He looked at the sanitary pad in my hand, then back at me. That gaze, if looks could kill, I would have died 100 times over. The elevator doors opened, and he stepped out without a word, leaving me with a wet back and a mountain of humiliation. And now, here he was. The man standing before me, introduced as Mr. Carter's exceptional son, Daniel Carter. I just wanted to find a hole to crawl into. Hello, I stammered, trying to pull my denim jacket tighter to cover myself. Daniel Carter looked at me, still with that cold, sharp gaze, as if he was looking at a walking sanitary pad. Jasmine King, his voice was low, cold as ice. Wait, why did that voice sound so damn familiar? I was trying to rack my brain, wondering where I had heard that voice before, when my father quickly interjected. Yes, my Jasmine, you two chat. Ben and I will go discuss something. The two inhumane fathers walked away, leaving me and the sanitary pad victim standing opposite each other. I gave a dry laugh. About what happened in the elevator the other day. I'm really sorry. Did your shirt get clean? Daniel Carter took a sip of wine. He didn't answer my question. Instead, he asked an unrelated one. What department do you work in? Oh, the AD department, just an intern, I mumbled. I like programming. He asked again, really? Just moderately, I stammered. I couldn't tell him I was obsessed with code and completely smitten with an online programmer hubby. The air fell silent again. I felt the fluorescent pink gown on me heating up. I couldn't take it anymore. I had to find Zane to vent. Excuse me, I'm going to the restroom for a moment. I quickly darted to a secluded corner of the garden where there were fewest people. I pulled out my phone and opened our familiar chat. I typed a long, resentful message. Darling, save me. I'm being forced on a blind date with a walking iceberg. Wah, he's the guy I told you about, the one I spilled coffee all over. Oh God, it's so humiliating. He's so cold, stone-faced like a lone shark. How can there be such a hateful man in the world? I just want to be with you, Zane. I hit send. The moment the message was sent, ping, a notification sound rang out, very close by. I flinched and looked up. Daniel Carter. He was standing just a few steps away from me. I hadn't even noticed when he got there. He was also holding his phone. His phone screen was lit up. And on that screen, though a little blurry, I swear I saw our chat interface with my dumb bear avatar, and the message I had just sent was clearly displayed. Daniel Carter slowly raised his head, his icy gaze piercing straight through me, and the corner of his mouth seemed to lift into a deadly curve. No way, this must be a joke, a coincidence so illogical. Or his phone was hacked. That's right, I'm an IT person. I know I could be being monitored and he's also a victim. My fingers trembled, I could barely hold my phone. Daniel Carter slowly slid his phone into his dress pants pocket. His deep eyes locked onto mine. The dangerous smirk from earlier had vanished, replaced by his usual cold demeanor. But I swear in his eyes there was a hint of a smile. He was laughing at me. Restroom, His voice echoed, still the same low, cold tone I heard in the main hall. Or are you going to vent to your darling? An arrow pierced straight through my heart. He hadn't just seen it, he had read it carefully. He even knew the word darling. My face burned. I felt the fluorescent pink gown on me radiating heat, and my face was definitely more fluorescent than the dress. Why you? I stammered, trying to salvage the last shred of my dignity. You snooped through my messages? This was my only retreat. Attack was the best defense. Snooped? Daniel Carter raised an eyebrow. His expression was as if he had just heard the blandest joke of the century. The message willingly sent itself to my phone. How is that snooping? No, you're lying, I almost screamed. My IQ had plummeted to negative. How can your phone be Zane's? My Zane is a programmer. I choked. He was Daniel Carter, the crown prince of Carter Group, a tech empire. To call him a programmer, well, it wasn't exactly wrong. You're Z, he interrupted me. His narrow phoenix eyes narrowed slightly. What is it, a coding teddy bear? The teasing in his voice was too obvious. I took a step back. I was starting to realize the bitter truth. But there was still one crucial point. One last crucial point. His voice, I clung to that last straw. Your voice isn't the same. Zane has a very warm voice. But you. I didn't dare say his voice sounded like a debt collector. My voice isn't the same, Daniel Carter repeated. And then something terrifying happened. He suddenly took a step towards me. The distance between us shortened. When he spoke again, the icy tone completely vanished. Instead, oh really? A deep, magnetic, seductive voice, as if an alternating current was running through every cell of my body. It was Zane. My ears rang, my entire body froze, I forgot to breathe. Daniel Carter tilted his head, his illogically handsome face close to my ear. His hot breath brushed against my earlobe, making me tremble. So, darling, he intentionally drew out the two words, darling, exactly how he used to tease me through voice messages. Tell me, is this voice enough to make you utterly melt yet? My body felt like it had been struck by lightning. I stood frozen for 5 seconds. Utterly melt? That was the phrase I had used in a moment of excitement when chatting privately with Zane last week, when he patiently read a dry algorithm document to me in that deadly voice. No one else knew that word. I snapped my head up, looking straight into his eyes. His eyes were still cold, but his voice, or rather, he wasn't letting me off the hook. Zane's voice continued to pour the cruelest words into my ear. You wanted to see this walking iceberg's 8-pack, to see if it's as good as actor Aiden's? He paused for a moment, then mimicked the exact phrase I had typed 10 minutes earlier. You're a very practical girl. It's over. Everything was over. I, Jasmine King, the keyboard warrior, the coding goddess in Zane's heart, had officially fallen tonight. Fallen in the most humiliating way. All the things I had vented about getting wet, sanitary pads, stone-faced, walking iceberg. I had badmouthed, criticized, and complained about him to the man himself. I had spent the last 3 months flirting, acting cute, and calling him Hubby with the person whose pants I had wiped with a sanitary pad 2 days ago. I wanted to dig a hole right there and bury myself. I didn't want to live anymore. My face was so hot I thought I could fry an egg on it. You cheat. This was the only insult I could think of at the moment. Cheat? Daniel Carter took a step back, standing tall. He reverted to his cold, crown prince demeanor, but his voice was still Zane's. How did I cheat you? He asked, looking utterly innocent. You said you were an ordinary programmer. I am a programmer. Or do you think the CEO of a tech empire doesn't know how to code? I choked. If Daniel Carter, the IT genius, didn't know how to code, who would? You said your name was Z. My name is Daniel Carter, and my online alias is Z. What's wrong with that? I choked again. You said you lived in the same city. You're standing right in front of me in the same city in the same garden. Jasmine King, where's your logic? He had me cornered. I was the one who was wrong. Wrong for fantasizing that Zane was a kind, nerdy, easy-to-bully programmer. Who knew Zane was a scheming fox masquerading as an iceberg, the final boss, the person I had just spilled coffee on in a sensitive spot. So why did you know I was? I was me. I pointed at my face. Do you think a new intern would dare to casually use the CEO's elevator, spill coffee on the CEO, and then offer a strange object to the CEO without Carter Group's security department finding out who you are? Strange object, he said. Oh God, just kill me. Jasmine King, Daniel Carter cut me off. He reverted to his initial icy tone. You're quite interesting. Interesting? My foot! I hated him. I couldn't bear another second. This humiliation was worse than my father cutting off my cards. I grabbed the fluorescent pink gown I had been cursing all night, turned, and fled. I ran like an Olympic sprinter vying for a gold medal. I ignored my high heels, ignored my father and Mr. Carter calling out behind me. Jasmine, that girl. I arrived home in a disheveled state. I threw off my shoes, rushed to my room, locked the door, and buried my face in the pillow. Ah, I screamed. Screamed in humiliation, screamed in anger. Why him? I had acted all cute and whiny with him. I had told him all my secrets. I had told him how much I hated the new CEO. I was raking my hands through my messy bun when my phone vibrated. My heart leaped. I tremblingly opened it. It was Zane. No, it was Daniel Carter. Darling, running so fast? Zane hasn't even shown you his real 8-pack yet. I guarantee actor Aiden doesn't stand a chance. And that pink dress, I held my breath. It looks great with your ripped denim jacket. Very edgy, very fitting for my dumb bear. He was teasing me. He was getting revenge for that strange object incident. I was so furious I threw my phone aside. Block him. Break up. But how could I break up when my father and his father were best friends? I was in a state of wanting to die and come back to life when my bedroom door was pounded on again. Thump, thump, thump. It was my father, for the second time tonight. Jasmine King, get out here. My father's voice was even angrier than when I insisted on wearing the ripped jacket to the party. I sighed in resignation and opened the door. Dad, I'm tired. Tired of what? My father glared. You're so smart, aren't you? You dared to leave in front of Mr. Carter and Daniel. You've completely embarrassed me. It was just a dinner party. A dinner party? My father roared. Do you know what opportunity this is? He was about to lecture me at length when his phone rang. My father looked at the screen and his angry expression immediately changed. Ah, CEO Carter. Yes, it's me. My father bowed obsequiously. CEO Carter, Daniel Carter, why is he calling my dad? My father listened to the phone, his eyes widening. He looked at me, then at the phone, then back at me. Yes, really? Is that true? My father stammered. Oh, this girl, she's a bit too spirited. Yes, of course, absolutely. Thank you, CEO Carter, thank you, young man. My father hung up, his hand still trembling. He looked at me with the most complex expression I had ever seen. Dad, what's wrong? I had a bad feeling. My father took a deep breath. Jasmine King, you. What about me? Daniel Carter just called your dad, my father announced, his voice like he'd just won the lottery. He said he's very interested in you. Interested in my strange object. He said, my father swallowed, he wants you to stop being an intern and starting tomorrow. What? He's firing me. My father yelled, no, he wants you to transfer to the CEO's office and be his personal assistant. What? Dad, are you joking? I screamed. I hoped this was just a nightmare after overeating at the Carter family party. Joking? What's there to joke about? My father slapped his thigh with a resounding asterisk smack, his face flushed with excitement. My darling daughter, you're so capable. I never thought that with your spirited personality, Daniel would take an interest in you. You're truly Kevin King's daughter. Capable of wiping the crown prince's pants with a strange object, then calling him an iceberg and stone-faced to his face. Dad, I'm not going, I recoiled. He's a pervert, he's doing this on purpose, he's taking revenge on me. Revenge for what? My father glared. He's offering you a golden opportunity, personal assistant to the CEO of Carter Group. Do you know how many people would kill for that position? 1 year there is worth 10 years of experience elsewhere. Plus, this is Daniel Carter, Mr. Carter's son, the legendary genius of the upper class. I was so angry I started talking nonsense. He's a two-faced Zane, a beast. Zane, what Zane? My father frowned. What nonsense are you talking about? I don't care. Our company's new contract with Carter Group is waiting for Daniel to approve it. If you mess this up, my father gritted his teeth. I won't just cut off your cards and Wi-Fi, I'll break your legs. I knew my father always kept his word. My small life and my father's company contract were both firmly in Daniel Carter's hands. He was clearly mixing business with pleasure. Business was making me work to death, and pleasure was getting revenge for the wet incident. I was about to scream again when my phone pinged. It was Zane. No, it was Daniel Carter. What difference did it make? My heart pounded. I tremblingly opened the message. Zane, Assistant King, be at the 50th floor by 8:00 a.m. tomorrow. Don't be late. Zane, I don't like employees using the general elevator. I held my breath. Zane, unless it's my assistant. Good night, darling. Darling, I tilted my head to the sky. Jasmine King, what karma have you accumulated? I let out one last scream. Daniel Carter, I hate you. Then I buried my face in the pillow, accepting my fate. The next morning, at 7:50 a.m., I stood outside the CEO's office on the 50th floor. Was the air naturally thinner on this floor, or was I just hyperventilating from fear? The entire floor was dead silent, save for the occasional click-clack of keyboards. Everyone was in black suits, gray office skirts, their faces devoid of emotion. And I was wearing a t-shirt with a silly duck print and jeans. I did it on purpose. He made me his assistant, but he didn't say what I had to wear right. A woman with her hair neatly tied in a high bun, wearing gold-rimmed glasses, looking even cooler than Daniel Carter, walked up to me. Her name tag read Ms. Lynn. She scanned me from head to toe, her gaze pausing at the duck on my shirt. Jasmine King. That's me. CEO Carter is waiting. These are the rules for the assistant's office. She handed me a thick stack of documents. I flipped through the 50 pages. Rule number 1, do not look directly at CEO Carter for more than 3 seconds without permission. Rule number 2, the room temperature must always be maintained at 22.5°C. Rule number 3, coffee. This went on for 50 pages. Are you kidding me? I thought. Memorize all of this by 10:00 a.m., Ms. Lynn said coldly. CEO Carter despises incompetence. I nearly burst out laughing. Aha, CEO Carter despises incompetence. This is exactly what I wanted to hear. Jasmine King, this is your way out. He hates useless people. Good. I'll become the most useless, most undisciplined, most worthless person on this 50th floor. Let's see how long he can tolerate me. I didn't bother reading the documents anymore. I was about to crumple them up, but no, Ms. Lynn was watching me, so I tucked them under my arm. Got it, I smiled brightly. I hugged the documents, took a deep breath, and pushed open the door to the lion's den. His office was enormous, all glass, overlooking the entire city. But the dominant colors were gray and black, cold and desolate, just like its owner. Daniel Carter sat behind his desk, wearing a navy blue suit, his hair slicked back, revealing a high forehead. He was focused on his computer screen, his long, slender fingers flying across the keyboard. He was the iceberg Daniel, not my warm Zane. The moment I stepped in, he didn't look up. 30 seconds late, Assistant King. His voice was cold, devoid of emotion. Sorry, CEO Carter, I said deliberately in a sluggish tone. The elevator was too crowded, and I don't like jostling. Oh, he looked up, his sharp phoenix eyes sweeping over me. Didn't I say my assistant is allowed to use the private elevator? Damn it, he's toying with me, I quickly retorted, but I couldn't find that elevator. Your company is too big. Ms. Lynn, standing at the door, twitched the corner of her mouth. The CEO's elevator is right opposite his office, with a sign as big as a billboard. Daniel Carter said nothing more. He just pointed at the 50-page document stack I had tucked under my arm. What's Rule 37? I blinked. What rule? Have you memorized it yet? Oh, of course not, I chuckled sheepishly. 50 pages is a lot. I haven't had time to read it yet. I was fully prepared for him to scold me for being a useless goldfish brain and kick me out. But slowly, he just said 3 words. Make me coffee. Then he gave his order. No sugar, no milk, precisely 75°C. He repeated, his eyes fixed on the screen again. That was it. I violated the rules and he didn't scold me. All right, round 1 failed. Time for round 2. I went to the break room, where there was an expensive coffee machine. 75 degsi, no sugar, no milk. Heh heh. 5 minutes later, I carried a cup of coffee in. I placed it down on his desk with a loud asterisk thud. CEO Carter's coffee. Daniel Carter frowned at the noise, but still picked up the cup. He was about to bring it to his lips when he paused. He sniffed it. What is this? Coffee, sir, I replied innocently. Why does it smell like caramel and almond milk? He looked at me, his gaze dropping a few degrees. Oh, I thought the bottle looked pretty, so I added some. You should try it. It smells so good. Daniel Carter put the coffee cup down forcefully. I said no sugar, no milk. Ah, I forgot. My memory's been so bad lately. I patted my forehead. Let me go make another one. I was gleefully excited, thinking my plan was working when he said, no need. Pour that out, make another cup. He still didn't fire me. I gritted my teeth. All right, you're stubborn. I went back to the break room. This time I made a pitch-black coffee, but I added a pile of salt to it. I carried it in. CEO Carter, this one is definitely correct. Daniel Carter looked at me with suspicion. He took a small sip. Almost immediately, his handsome face winced. Although he tried to hide it, I saw his Adam's apple bob. He was clearly trying to swallow the sea water I'd brewed. He didn't spit it out, he swallowed it. Ha ha ha, I couldn't hold it in, I burst out laughing. He looked up, his gaze sharp as a dagger. Assistant King, do you find this very amusing? No, I'm sorry. I tried to stifle my laughter. It's your face. I mean, CEO Carter, the coffee doesn't suit your taste. I thought this time he would definitely roar, get out. But no, he placed the salty coffee cup down, pulled out a tissue, and elegantly wiped his mouth. You don't know how to make coffee. Yes, I nodded vigorously. I don't know anything, I'm utterly useless. I only know how to code. I can't do these menial tasks. Just fire me, come on. Daniel Carter stared at me. That stare began to frighten me. It wasn't anger. It was like a predator watching its prey willingly walk into a trap. All right, he said, if you can't do menial tasks. He pointed to a mountain-high stack of documents in the corner of the room. Then do professional work. Organize this pile of documents. What? I choked, my plan had failed. These are ID test reports for Project Sirius. You're an IT person, you should be able to do this. He spoke as if giving orders to Ms. Lin. My blood boiled. I dragged my weary body to the stack of documents. I had to make him fire me. I hugged the documents back to my temporary desk. I flipped through them. Just as I thought, it was a chaotic mess of code snippets, bug reports, and system logs scattered everywhere. Aha, round 3, he wants me to organize them? Fine, I'll show him how I organize. I spent the entire morning. I didn't sort by project, by date, or by priority. I sorted by the color of the paperclips. All red paperclips in one file, all blue paperclips in another. For those without paperclips, I crumpled them up. Just kidding, I didn't dare to crumple them, but I deliberately clipped Project A's code files with Project B's bug reports. I tucked system logs in between advertising contracts. I created a bigger disaster than it was initially. 3 hours later, I walked triumphantly, a smirk on my face, carrying my masterpiece straight to Daniel Carter's desk. I placed it down with a loud asterisk thud. CEO Carter, your reports are organized. Daniel Carter looked up, glancing at my masterpiece. He opened the first page, a code file. He opened the second page, a dining receipt. He opened the third page, half a bug report. His face darkened, turning utterly black, and the air in the room dropped to sub-zero temperatures. Even Ms. Lin, standing outside the door, shivered. That's right, get angry. Yell fire me, I cheered silently. Daniel Carter slammed the document folder shut. Assistant King. His voice was terrifyingly low. Yes, I puffed out my chest, ready for the inevitable dismissal. You're staying. Did I hear that right? Huh, what did CEO Carter say? I said, he looked straight into my eyes, you're staying at the company tonight. Staying for what? My heart started pounding wildly. This wasn't how the script was supposed to go. Coffee, he picked up my salty coffee cup, organizing documents. His cold, icy face suddenly lifted into a wicked smile. I will personally educate you. He emphasized the two words, personally. A chill ran down my spine. Just then, my phone in my denim pocket vibrated. I tremblingly opened it. It was Zane. Darling, you think acting like this will make me let you go? Zane is too naive. Zane, salty coffee, not bad, but I prefer sweet. Zane, stay tonight and I'll show you what personal tutoring means. Dumb bear not listening. At 5:00 p.m., the office bell rang for quitting time. Within 30 seconds, the entire 50th floor, which moments ago had been filled with the click-clack of keyboards like a factory, suddenly went dead silent. Everyone grabbed their bags, shut down their computers, stood up, and vanished. No one even glanced at me. Well, except Ms. Lynn. Before leaving, she paused at Daniel Carter's office door, looking at me, who was rooted to the spot in the middle of the room, not daring to move, with an incredibly complex expression. It was a mix of pity and a wish for good luck. Then she, too, left. The elevator doors closed with a **ding**. Only two people remained on the 50th floor, me and the capitalist demon masquerading as Zane, sitting behind his desk. The air was so suffocating I could hear my heart pounding in my chest. I swallowed. CCO Carter? I tried to keep my voice from trembling. It's past work hours. See, can I go home now? Go home? Daniel Carter looked up, the cold fluorescent light illuminating his perfect, almost inhumanly beautiful face. Assistant King, your education hasn't even begun. Are you trying to escape work? He still called me Assistant King. I'm not escaping work, it's past work hours. I strained my neck to argue. I'm not obligated to work overtime, especially since I haven't even signed an official assistant contract. Oh, he raised an eyebrow. You're right, you're not obligated. He picked up his phone. Then I'll call Mr. King. I'll slowly dial his number and tell him that his darling daughter doesn't want to work, and perhaps the King Corporation contract needs to be reconsidered. I gritted my teeth. I knew it. He would never let go of this damned weapon. You're despicable. You're using my father to threaten me. Despicable? Daniel Carter chuckled, a cold laugh that didn't reach his eyes. Jasmine King, the despicable one, is someone who deliberately makes salty coffee for her boss and intentionally messes up company documents. He knew full well I was doing it on purpose. I choked. He put his phone down but didn't lock the screen. His eyes locked onto mine. Come here, he commanded. I was rooted to the spot. Do what? You tell me. His gaze swept past the salty coffee cup I had made that morning, still sitting on his desk, and my disaster of documents. Make coffee, organize documents. His voice had no ripple of emotion, but I felt an invisible pressure weighing down on my shoulders. I won't do it. I decided to make one last struggle. If you want to fire me, then fire me. I'm not being your assistant anymore. I don't care. I finished speaking, turned, and started to run towards the elevator. I didn't believe he would actually call my father. But I had only taken 2 steps when a voice echoed behind me, freezing me in place. Darling! It wasn't CEO Carter's voice. It was Zane's deep, magnetic, and now dangerously seductive voice. Try running one more step. My entire body went numb. I didn't dare to turn around. I heard the sound of his chair being pushed back, the steady footsteps on the marble floor. He was coming towards me. His hot breath brushed against the back of my neck. He was standing right behind me. Zane's voice whispered right next to my ear. Where are you trying to run off to? I'm going home. Home? He chuckled softly. But your hubby is still here. How could you bear to leave me to work overtime alone? He still dared to call himself hubby. My face burned. I spun around furiously. Shut up, you're not my hubby. You're a liar. You've been lying to me for 3 months. I pushed hard against his chest, but Daniel Carter didn't budge. He was like a steel wall. Instead, my own momentum made me stumble, and he naturally reached out his hand, not to steady me. He grabbed my wrist, pulling hard. I lost my balance, tumbling forward, but I didn't fall to the floor. I fell into his solid chest. My nose hit his stiff suit jacket, smelling the refreshing mint scent. My heart felt like it wanted to leap out of my chest. Let go, I struggled. Stay still. His voice turned cold again, reverting to CEO Carter's tone, and his arms tightened around my waist, preventing me from moving. I was held firmly in a very ambiguous position. Daniel Carter, you're a pervert. You're abusing your authority. Assistant King, he cut me off, if I really wanted to abuse my authority, do you think you'd still be standing here? Or rather, he lowered his head close to my ear, his voice switching back to Zane's seductive tone. Are you hoping I'll do something? You wish. Then let the education begin. He didn't let go of me. He held my waist tightly and pulled me. Yes, dragged me towards his desk. He pressed me down, not onto the guest chair, but onto his CEO's leather chair. The huge, deep chair enveloped me. I felt like a teddy bear kidnapped into a tiger's den. Sit still. He rested both hands on the arms of the chair, trapping me in the middle, face to face. The distance between our faces was less than a handspan. I could clearly see each of his long, curved eyelashes and my own panicked reflection in his deep, dark eyes. What are you going to do? I stammered. Educate you, he smiled, a fox's smile. First lesson, the dangers of lying. He reached out, not for a document, but to turn his personal computer screen towards me. He typed a few keys, and the familiar chat interface between me and Zane appeared. The entire 3-month history of our conversations. My blood ran cold. Darling, look. He pointed to a message, his voice again Zane's. What did you tell me last week here? He pointed to a line. Dumb bear. Zane, my new CEO, is such a cold-faced jerk. Doesn't say a word all day, face as cold as stone. He must have kidney problems, so he's probably got issues in the bedroom. My face exploded. Why you? Read it, he commanded, his voice still gentle. I couldn't read. I was so humiliated I wanted to cry. Read it, he repeated. Or do you want me to read it for you, then read it yourself? Daniel Carter, you're too much. Am I too much, or are you too much? He frowned, saying, Your boss has kidney problems, On what basis? I guessed, I mumbled. Guessed, he scoffed. Then would you like to verify it? Verify what? Verify if I really have issues. His breath brushed against my face. You scoundrel. I used all my strength to push him away. This time, he took a step back, but his face was still full of amusement. All right, no verifying. He pointed at the screen. Then keep reading. He scrolled down. Dumb bear, my hubby, let me tell you. Today I met that iceberg again. Oh my God, he wears suits like he's attending a funeral. I swear, if I ever get married, my husband has to be as warm as you, and I'll never bring that celibate burden home. I squeezed my eyes shut. Kill me now. Who did you call a celibate burden? He asked. I didn't answer. I bit my lip hard. Jasmine King? He suddenly became serious again, using CEO Carter's voice. You messed up my documents, you made me salty coffee. Do you think I'll easily let that go? So what do you want? I looked up at him, my eyes red with fury. Fire me, I'm not doing this anymore. Fire you? He shook his head. That would be too easy for you. He looked at me, then at the disastrous pile of documents I had created in the corner of the room. You damaged my property, you have to pay for it. Pay for it? I don't have any money, I pouted. You're so rich, you're bullying a poor intern like me. Who needs your money? He suddenly leaned towards me, and my heart leaped again. He's going to do something, isn't he? He wasn't looking at me. He reached out and gently tapped my forehead. Knock, knock, use this to compensate me. He pointed at my head. Huh. Tonight, Daniel Carter stood up straight, returning to his desk. You sit here and reorganize all the trash you created. Organize it until I'm satisfied. What, all of it? I looked at the mountain-high stack of documents. It wouldn't be finished by morning. That's your problem, he said, his voice cold. Or, he paused, I held my breath. Or what? Daniel Carter turned his head, and under the light, his phoenix eyes flashed with a hint of cunning. He suddenly pointed at his cheek. Or, kiss me. I heard that wrong, didn't I? What did you say? Kiss me, he repeated, his face unblushed, his heart not beating faster. Or you stay here and organize documents all night, he smirked. Dumb bear choose. My brain was trying to process the two options he had given me. 1, reorganize that mountain-high pile of disastrous documents. With the chaotic mess I had personally created, I knew that even if I was a coding goddess, it would take me at least 8 hours. 8 hours of unpaid overtime with a two-faced, stone-faced boss. 2. Kiss him. He was pointing at his cheek. His skin, at this close distance, looked illogically smooth, not a single pore. Handsome, he really was handsome. But kiss him. The iceberg who had used Zane's voice to deceive me for 3 months. The one who had seen me in my most embarrassing, strange object moment. I'd rather die. Well, Daniel Carter raised an eyebrow, his voice switching back to Zane's teasing tone. Is it that hard to choose? Dumb bear, you should know my overtime rate is very expensive. He even dared to call me dumb bear. I choose, I gritted my teeth. I choose option 3. Oh, he looked interested. What's option 3? I'll call my father? I puffed out my chest, trying to look like I held the upper hand. I'll tell him, CEO Carter, the Crown Prince of Carter Group, is abusing his authority, bullying an intern, and harassing her. I thought he would be scared by this. But to my surprise, Daniel Carter burst out laughing, a genuine laugh. He casually stepped back, crossing his arms over his chest. Go ahead and call. Let's see if Mr. King believes you or me. He paused for a second, then continued, his voice like a knife piercing my heart. How do you think Mr. King will react when he finds out his darling daughter complained to his business partner's son that her boss has kidney problems, or do you want me to send him our entire chat history? He was a devil, he had me cornered. Too tightly. If my father read the messages where I called Daniel Carter an aloof burden and Zane my hubby, he wouldn't just break my legs, he'd disown me. I lost miserably. I looked at the pile of documents, then back at Daniel Carter's handsome but hateful face. Organize documents. Kiss, organize, kiss, 8 hours, 1 second. Jasmine King, you're a practical woman, aren't you? I gritted my teeth and sprang up from his CEO chair. My face was burning as if it were about to spontaneously combust. I knew I was blushing to the point of utter humiliation. You said it, I pointed at his face. Just 1 kiss, and then I get to leave. You can't make me organize documents anymore. Of course, Daniel Carter shrugged, his expression radiating trustworthiness. He even kindly tilted his cheek slightly towards me as if bestowing a favor. Damn it, I took a deep breath. Consider it like a quick, unpleasant peck, like kissing a very handsome but annoying piece of meat. I squeezed my eyes shut and leaned forward. My target was that smooth cheek. I decided to do it quickly, a quick peck and then bolt. But just as my lips were about to touch his cheek, that scoundrel Daniel Carter suddenly turned his head. MMPH, my lips, originally aimed at his cheek, landed precisely on something soft and warm. His lips. My brain exploded into a blank. I opened my eyes wide, and what I saw was Daniel Carter's face magnified. His phoenix eyes were also wide open, staring at me. 0 distance. We were kissing. This was my first kiss. My first kiss, which I had guarded for 22 years, meant for the nerdy, kind Zane, not for this cunning final boss version of Zane. 1 second, 2 seconds. I still hadn't reacted. I was still in a frozen state. And Daniel Carter, he didn't push me away. He just stayed there, and I even felt the corner of his lips seem to curl up. Assistant King, he spoke, his voice so close it not only traveled through the air but also directly through our lips, making me go numb. You're quite enthusiastic. That sentence pulled me back to reality. Ah, I screamed, recoiling as if burned. I furiously wiped my lips with the back of my hand. Daniel Carter, you tricked me? You did that on purpose. My face wasn't just red anymore, it was about to steam. You're a liar, a pervert. I tricked you. Daniel Carter stood up straight, his face utterly innocent. He raised his thumb and slowly ran it across his lips. An unconscious action, yet it made my heart skip a beat. You clearly just missed, he declared. I missed because you turned your face away. Oh, really? He looked at me. Or, he switched back to Zane's seductive voice, did you find my taste not bad and want to confirm again? You wish, I grabbed my purse. I couldn't stay here another second. I'm leaving, you remember what you said, I don't have to organize documents anymore. I rushed to the door. But as I ran past his desk, he suddenly spoke. Jasmine King. This time, it was CEO Carter's cold and serious voice. I froze, turning back to look at him warily. What now? I already kissed you. I said you don't have to organize all night, he emphasized each word. My heart sank. You're going back on your word. I'm not going back on my word. He pointed at the documents. You messed up my documents. That kiss was just interest for wasting my time. As for this pile, he walked towards the chaos I had created, you still have to clean it up. Daniel Carter, I wailed. But he cut me off. I'm not making you do it alone, am I? He rolled up his shirt sleeves, revealing his strong wrists and expensive watch. I'll teach you how to organize. I froze. Assistant King, he glanced at me. Why are you still standing there? Come here, or do you want to pay more interest? I shivered. I dragged my heavy feet back. And so, my first romantic evening after discovering my online boyfriend was my CEO turned into a session of community service right there in the 50th floor office. We started reorganizing the mess I had made. I had to admit, Daniel Carter worked incredibly efficiently. He only needed a glance to know which document belonged to which project, which code file related to which bug report. As for me, the perpetrator of this crime, I was fumbling to unclip the paper clips and smooth out the pages I had deliberately wrinkled. The silence was terrifying, broken only by the rustle of paper. I didn't dare to look at him. I could still feel the warm sensation on my lips. I was buried in a pile of code files when my phone vibrated in my pocket. I secretly opened it. It was Zane. Zane, your lips are really sweet. I nearly bit my tongue. I snapped my head up and looked at Daniel Carter. He was standing 2 meters away from me, his back turned, absorbed in a report. How did he send a message? While I was bewildered, he turned his head, precisely turning to look at me. Then he smiled. That smile was no longer CEO Carter's cold smile, nor Zane's warm smile. It was the smile of a wolf that had just fed. He held up his phone, the screen still lit. He had used voice recognition to send the message. Assistant King, he spoke in CEO Carter's voice. Focus on your work, or do you want me to confiscate your phone? I understand. I quickly put my phone away. This devil, he's toying with me. We worked until almost 8:00 p.m. My stomach began to rumble. The sound was very loud in the quiet office, and my face flushed again. Daniel Carter looked up from the pile of papers. He looked at me. Hungry. No, not hungry. I adamantly denied. GRRR, my stomach betrayed me again. Daniel Carter sighed. He pulled out his phone and made a call. Bring 2 dinner portions up to the office. Cod with lemon sauce from Restaurant S. Restaurant S, that was the super expensive French restaurant downstairs. One meal there cost half my intern's salary. I won't eat, I quickly said. I don't have money to pay. My treat, he said curtly. Consider it overtime pay. He was treating me to dinner. 20 minutes later, the food was brought up. We sat opposite each other at the clear glass conference table. The cod was fragrant, the potatoes looked smooth. I was so hungry my eyes blurred. I forgot all about my image and buried my head in my food. Eat slowly, dumb bear, Zane's voice suddenly echoed. I flinched, looking up. Daniel Carter was elegantly cutting his piece of fish. He hadn't opened his mouth. He was using his phone again. My phone vibrated. Zane, no one's going to steal your food. You've got food all over your mouth. I quickly wiped my mouth. I glared at him. He smirked, raised his glass of water, and gestured for a toast with me. I was so furious I wanted to dump this plate of cod on his head, but I couldn't deny it. The cod was delicious. After dinner, we went back to work. The pile of documents was finally organized by 9:00 p.m. Done, I exhaled, stretching my aching back. Can I go home now, CEO Carter? Daniel Carter looked at his watch. It's late, I'll take you home. He referred to himself as I again. No need, I quickly waved my hand. I can go home myself, my house is nearby. Nearby? He raised an eyebrow. From here to the lakeside villa complex, you call that nearby? He knew where I lived. Ah, right, he was Zane. I had told him my address for online food deliveries, even though we never actually shipped anything. Anyway, no need. I didn't want to be alone with him in the cramped space of the elevator, then the car. Assistant King, his voice was serious. Do you think it's safe for a girl who just worked overtime with me until 9:00 p.m. carrying a limited edition handbag bought by her father, to leave the Carter Group basement alone and take a taxi. Was he worried about me? Or was he afraid that if I got kidnapped for ransom, Carter Group would be dragged into it too? Without waiting for my answer, he grabbed his suit jacket, took my wrist, and pulled me into the CEO's private elevator. Daniel Carter, let go. At the company, it's CEO Carter, he said coldly, but didn't release my hand. We went down to basement B2. His black Bentley was parked right there. He opened the passenger door and slid me in. The space in the car was even more cramped than the elevator, the scent of luxury leather mixed with his familiar minty cologne. He buckled my seatbelt, started the car, and the car glided smoothly away. We were silent for 5 minutes. I didn't know what to say, my mind was reeling. That kiss, that dinner, that handhold just now. The car stopped in front of the gate of my villa complex. I quickly fumbled for the seatbelt release. But this luxurious thing was too complicated. Sit still, Daniel Carter suddenly spoke. He leaned over. Ah, I flinched, pressing myself against the car door. You, what are you doing? My heart pounded like a drum. His hot breath brushed against my face. This distance was even closer than when I had missed kissing him. He said nothing, just stared at me, then his hand reached around me and *click*. He unbuckled my seatbelt for me. I sighed in relief, but also felt a little deflated. Dumb bear, he whispered. Zane's voice was back, and he was still very close to me. What were you thinking? I wasn't thinking anything. I adamantly denied. Then why is your face so red? He chuckled softly. Thanks for the very special salty coffee. Get out of the car, go to bed early. Tomorrow, continue making it for me. What, you still want to drink it? I was horrified. No, he smirked. I want to see what new tricks you have. I quickly opened the car door and jumped out as if fleeing. I ran a few steps, then my phone vibrated. It was Zane. Zane, sleep tight, dumb bear. Dream of me. I turned around and glared at the Bentley. Annoyed, I messaged back, dream of you doing what? Being forced into overtime by you. The reply came almost instantly. Dream of verifying, dumb bear. Verifying what? Verifying if this aloof burden truly has issues. I slept a night full of nightmares. I dreamed of Daniel Carter forcing me to verify 1,000 times. Then I dreamed of my father chasing me around Carter Group with a feather duster for kissing a business partner's son. When I woke up, I had dark circles like a panda. Groggy, I picked up my phone to turn off my alarm for work, and I saw a message. Not from Zane, but from CEO Carter. An official message sent from the company's internal system. Daniel Carter, Assistant King, be at the office by 9:00 a.m. Bring coffee. That was it. After a night of community service and a burning, accidental kiss, he only asked for coffee. I started to feel bewildered. My plan to be useless had failed miserably. Now I didn't know what attitude to adopt to face him. I decided to wear office attire. A simple white shirt and a black pencil skirt to look a bit more professional. When I stepped onto the 50th floor, the atmosphere was the same as usual. But this time, Ms. Lin looked at me, her gaze slightly changed, with a hint of sympathy. I knocked on Daniel Carter's door. Come in. I stepped inside. He was still sitting behind his desk, still in the navy blue suit, still with his familiar cold expression. CEO Carter, your coffee? I placed the coffee cup down. This time I had made a normal cup, no salt, no sugar, no caramel. He looked up, his gaze sweeping over my office attire. Not wearing the duck t-shirt today? CEO Carter's voice, but he asked a question that sounded very much like Zane. I thought I should be a bit more professional, I mumbled. Professional, he took a sip of coffee. It's bland. What? I was furious. Do you want it salty again? No, he put the cup down. I prefer the taste from last night. Last night? My face flushed again. He was talking about Daniel Carter's lips. You're being too much. At the company, it's CEO Carter. He reverted to that cold, expressionless tone. I gritted my teeth. Tonight, he suddenly said. Tonight, my heart leaped, overtime again. Attend a party with me. What? I was startled. Why do I have to go? You're my assistant, he said. The reason sounded very legitimate. Socializing with the boss was normal. Or, he picked up his phone, do you want me to call Mr. King and tell him his daughter refused an opportunity to learn and socialize with the elite? This trick again. 7:00 p.m., he stood up and walked towards a hidden wardrobe in the wall. Your outfit, I've prepared it. He opened the wardrobe. Inside were not documents but a rack of dazzling evening gowns. Ms. Lin, come in here, he called on the internal phone. Ms. Lin stepped in, her face devoid of emotion. Take Assistant King to get ready. Make sure she's perfect by 7:00 p.m. Understood, CEO Carter. Ms. Lin looked at me, and for the first time she smiled. Assistant King, please. I was escorted like a puppet. I was taken to a high-end salon, pushed into a changing room. A sapphire blue evening gown was handed to me, off the shoulder, hugging my waist. The slit was just right, both alluring and elegant. After 2 hours of transformation, I looked at myself in the mirror, barely recognizing myself. My messy bun was styled into soft waves, my bare face was exquisitely made up, emphasizing my eyes. Oh my God, I mumbled. Who is this? CEO Carter's girlfriend, Ms. Lin suddenly said. Huh, what did you say? I flinched. Ms. Lin adjusted her glasses. CEO Carter has never taken anyone to a party before. You're the first. My heart skipped a beat. At 7:00 p.m., I stood in the company lobby, a little unaccustomed to the high heels. A silver-gray Maserati stopped in front of me. Daniel Carter stepped out. He wasn't wearing a suit. He wore a black shirt with the top 2 buttons unbuttoned and dress pants. His usually slicked-back hair was now artfully disheveled. Oh my God, he was inhumanly handsome. The image of the nerdy, kind Zane in my head shattered into a million pieces. He looked at me, his gaze pausing for a second. His narrow, usually cold phoenix eyes now held a burning glint. He walked towards me, naturally extending his hand. Let's go. His voice was no longer CEO Carter's, but Zane's, deep and gentle. I dazedly placed my hand in his. He opened the passenger door. Get in, dumb bear. I huffed as I climbed in. Who's your dumb bear? He didn't argue back, just smiled. The car stopped in front of a 5-star hotel. This was a charity gala for the elite. The moment we stepped into the magnificent ballroom, Daniel Carter immediately became the center of attention. Countless eyes converged on him and on me, the strange object walking beside him. His arm naturally wrapped around my waist, keeping me close to him. I flinched, trying to pry his hand away. Playing along, he whispered in my ear, his breath hot. You don't want those ladies out there to devour you alive, do you? I looked around. Indeed, countless dagger-like gazes were aimed at me. I had no choice but to let him hold me. Oh, Daniel, a sweet, green tea voice rang out. A beautiful but calculating girl in a high-slit red evening gown glided through the crowd, rushing towards Daniel Carter. She ignored me, intimately hooking her arm through Daniel Carter's. Daniel, long time no see. I'm Lily Lee from Wan Corporation. Do you remember me? I pouted. Lily Lee, the typical green tea bitch. I was about to step back to watch the show. But Daniel Carter gently removed her hand from his. He turned to face the entire ballroom. He took my hand, lacing our fingers together, a tight squeeze. Excuse me, Miss Lee. Daniel Carter's voice wasn't cold, but it was distant. Allow me to introduce you. He pulled me closer to him. This is Jasmine King. Lily Lee frowned. Your assistant. No, Daniel Carter smiled, Zane's smile. This is my girlfriend. The entire ballroom went dead silent. I also froze. Girlfriend? This scoundrel Daniel Carter, what kind of act is he putting on that he's so deep into character? Lily Lee's face turned pale. Your girlfriend, Daniel? Are you kidding me? I've never heard of her. Well, now you have. Daniel Carter didn't even bother to look at her anymore. He turned to me. His gaze suddenly became terrifyingly gentle. I tried to force out a sweet smile. Yes, hubby. I decided to play along. The 2 words, hubby, came out, and not only did Lily Lee freeze, but even Daniel Carter paused for a second. He stared at me, a dangerous glint in his eyes. Good girl, he bent down and lightly pecked my forehead. Daniel Carter kissed my forehead. A light kiss like a dragonfly skimming the water, yet it exploded like an atomic bomb in the middle of the ballroom. I froze. Lily Lee froze. The entire upper-class crowd, eavesdropping, also froze. This Daniel Carter, he's taking this act too far. Did he really have to sacrifice my forehead like that? Daniel, Lily Lee stammered, her beautiful face twisted. You kissed her. Daniel Carter casually stepped back, but his hand still held mine tightly. He smiled at the green tea bitch. I kissed my girlfriend. Is there a problem, Miss Lee? Oh my God, that Zane voice, that Zane smile. He's using weapons of mass destruction. Lily Lee was clearly heavily impacted. She took a deep breath, trying to regain her composure as the young miss of the Wan Corporation. Girlfriend? She scoffed, her sharp gaze sweeping over me. Daniel, don't joke with me. Who are you? The Crown Prince of Carter Group. And her? She looked me up and down, a look of utter disdain. Just a lowly assistant wearing a dress that's probably a fake, a knockoff of Safia Knight's last season's design. I gritted my teeth. First, this dress was prepared by Daniel Carter. I didn't even know what it was. Second, a knockoff. The material of this dress was so exquisite I barely dared to breathe. I was about to open my mouth to tear her apart when Daniel Carter spoke first. His voice noticeably chilled. Miss Lee, he said, CEO Carter's voice, cold as ice, had returned. My girlfriend's dress is a custom-made, one-of-a-kind piece. The design that Safia Knight had to ask my permission to use for what you call a knockoff this season. An invisible yet stinging slap. Lily Lee's face turned red, not from embarrassment, but from humiliation. Daniel Carter, you're protecting your girlfriend. You're really playing a role. Lily Lee choked, but the green tea bitch never gave up easily. She immediately changed tactics. Oh, I'm so sorry. She covered her mouth with her hand, her face remorseful. I didn't know, I just thought it was strange. Daniel is known for being aloof, not close to women. How did he suddenly get involved with an assistant? She deliberately emphasized the word assistant. Perhaps, she smiled sweetly, Miss King here has some special abilities. That remark was too insidious. She was implying I used underhand tactics to climb the ladder. My blood boiled. Okay, she wants to play? I'll play. I took a breath and looked up. I didn't look at Lily Lee. I turned to Daniel Carter. I stood on tiptoes. Daniel Carter was a head taller than me. I had to tiptoe to whisper in his ear. Hubby, I deliberately said the two words sweetly, coquettishly, just loud enough for Lily Lee to hear. Daniel Carter's body stiffened for a second. I felt it. I chuckled inwardly. So you can get nervous too, huh? She's saying I used special abilities to seduce you, I whispered, my breath brushing against his ear. Tell me, are my abilities special? I was intentionally teasing him back. He dared to use me as a human shield. I dared to use him as a damage reflection shield. Daniel Carter turned his head. The distance between us was so close that his nose almost touched my cheek. I saw a flicker of fire in his deep phoenix eyes, a burning, hot fire. He didn't whisper his reply. He used Zane's voice, loud enough for the entire ballroom to hear. Of course they're special, he said, and the hand around my waist tightened slightly. So special that, he looked at me with a lingering gaze, they make me want to verify every day. The entire ballroom gasped. My face was on fire. This scoundrel Daniel Carter, what is he saying? Verify. He dared to say those two words here. I was so humiliated I wanted to dig a hole and bury both of us when, Jasmine, Daniel? Two powerful middle-aged voices rang out simultaneously. I flinched and turned around. My father, Kevin King, and Mr. Ben Carter. The two fathers stood stunned a few steps away from us. My father looked at me. Mr. Carter looked at Daniel Carter, and both men stared at Daniel Carter's hand wrapped around my waist and my hand clutching his suit jacket because of the sheer humiliation. Dad, Mr. Carter? Daniel Carter and I said in unison. It's over, it's really over. This time, acting won't save us. Caught red-handed, my father will definitely break my legs and his company's contract. But the two fathers' reactions were very strange. My father, Kevin King, who I thought would rush over and tear me away from Daniel Carter, was rubbing his eyes. Then he turned to Mr. Carter and stammered, Ben, am I seeing things? Your boy Daniel is hugging my daughter. Mr. Carter was equally bewildered. I see it too. But immediately after Mr. Carter's corporate face lit up, he let out a booming laugh. Good, very good. Mr. Carter quickly walked towards us. He didn't look at Daniel Carter. He looked at me with the eyes of a mother-in-law looking at a cherished daughter-in-law. Jasmine, my dear, how did you tame this little puppy? You're so good. I didn't do anything, Mr. Carter. Mr. Carter? What Mr. Carter? He patted my hand, the one holding Daniel Carter's. Call him Dad. Call Mr. Carter Dad. What is this? What kind of script is this? My father had by this point regained his composure. He also rushed over, his face flushed with excitement. Jasmine King, you and Daniel, since when did you two? I was about to explain that we were just acting when Daniel Carter squeezed my hand tightly. He smiled at the two fathers, the typical good boy, exemplary student smile. Dad, Uncle Kevin, he said, his voice extremely polite. We're exploring our feelings. Exploring our feelings? The two fathers shouted with joy. Mr. Carter spun around to the eavesdropping crowd, especially Lily Lee, whose face had turned ghastly pale. Everyone, listen up. Mr. Carter cleared his throat and introduced to everyone, this is Jasmine King, my brother Kevin King's darling daughter, and my future daughter-in-law. Future daughter-in-law? My brain exploded for the second time tonight. What kind of speed is this? Rocket speed? We only just kissed once. I turned to Daniel Carter for help. Explain, say it's an act. But Daniel Carter didn't look at me. He was looking at a pot-bellied man who was approaching. Oh, CEO Carter, congratulations, congratulations. The pot-bellied man chuckled, offering Daniel Carter a glass of red wine. Congratulations, CEO Carter, on finding love. I'm Director Wang of Eternal and Group. I'd like to toast CEO Carter and the future Mrs. Carter. The man then offered me a glass. I was flustered. I didn't drink alcohol. I was about to refuse when Daniel Carter blocked my hand. He took the wine glass from my hand. She doesn't drink. His voice was cold. Oh, CEO Carter. Director Wang's face stiffened. Please, for courtesy's sake. I said she doesn't drink. Daniel Carter looked up. Before the astonished eyes of everyone present, Daniel Carter took my wine glass and drank it all. Then he took his own glass and drank that too. 2 glasses of red wine, he gulped them down in one breath. Director Wang? He put down the 2 empty glasses. I drank on her behalf. Is that enough? Director Wang's face turned pale. Yes, CEO Carter has a high alcohol tolerance. The guy slunk away, but I was looking at Daniel Carter. His face was starting to turn red. Not just his face, but his ears too. Oh my God, *, I suddenly remembered. Once, during a late-night chat, I asked Zane if he drank. He said no, he was allergic to alcohol. 1 glass and he'd be drunk. I looked at Daniel Carter standing next to me. He was drunk. He was allergic to alcohol. He knew that, yet he drank on my behalf. Why? It's just acting. Daniel Carter, you. I nervously tugged at his sleeve. Are you all right? He turned to look at me. His usually sharp, cold phoenix eyes were now blurred and hazy. A misty film covered them. He didn't answer me. He just stared at me then. In front of my father, in front of Mr. Carter, in front of the green tea bitch Lily Lay, in front of the entire ballroom, Daniel Carter bent down. He used his other hand to cup the back of my neck, and he kissed me. His lips were hot, carrying the astringent taste of red wine. He kissed deeply and passionately. My brain exploded for the 3rd time. I forgot to breathe, I forgot to push him away. I only heard Lily Lee's gasp of shock, my father's, oh my God, and Mr. Carter's booming, ha ha ha, good. Daniel Carter seemed oblivious to the world around him. He was only focused on me. When he finally let me go, his forehead rested against mine. Both of us were panting. My face was so hot I thought I had a fever. Daniel Carter, I mumbled. You're drunk. He whispered, his breath still brushed against my lips. I'm drunk because of you? He looked up at the entire ballroom, which was now frozen. He pulled me close into his arms and declared, listen clearly, everyone. His voice was hoarse from the wine but full of authority. This is Jasmine King, my fiancé. The entire ballroom, from the powerful and influential figures to the green tea bitch Lily Lee, to my father and Mr. Carter, everyone was frozen, dead silent. All that remained was my ragged breathing and the thumping of both our hearts. I was tightly embraced by him. My lips were still burning, still tasting of the sharp wine. And Daniel Carter, he was drunk, truly drunk. Daniel Carter, I mumbled. What nonsense are you talking about? You're drunk, let me go. I tried to push him away. But this drunk man was illogically strong. He not only didn't let go but tightened his grip, rubbing his head into my neck like a giant Alaskan bear. "Fiancé," he mumbled, his voice hoarse from the wine, his hot breath brushing against the back of my neck. Don't run away, dumb bear." Oh my God, he called me dumb bear in front of so many people. Ha 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 ha. A resounding laugh broke the deadly silence. It was Mr. Carter. Mr. Ben Carter was slapping his thigh, laughing so hard tears streamed down his face. "Good, very good, fiancé, my son finally has a future." Mr. Carter rushed over, his eyes looking at me as if he had already seen his grandchild. "Jasmine, good, you did very well." Mr. Carter patted my shoulder vigorously. "Let's decide it now. No, your father and I will choose the date for you two." My father, Kevin King, had by this point also recovered from the shock of a future daughter-in-law. He had upgraded to the shock of a fiancé, and my father was also laughing. "Ben!" My father clasped Mr. Carter's hand tightly. "Daniel, is he serious?" "Serious." "Absolutely serious," Mr. Carter declared. "My son, I know him. When he's drunk, he only tells the truth. He would never joke about something like this." The two fathers shook hands, jubilant as if they'd just sealed a century-long contract. It really was a century-long contract. A contract to sell me off. No, I panicked. "Dad, Mr. Carter, he's drunk. He's just joking. We just kissed by accident once and were forced to kiss once." "Who's joking?" Daniel Carter looked up, his phoenix eyes hazy from drunkenness, but staring intently at me. He frowned. "Jasmine King." He called my name, his voice extremely serious. "Are you not going to take responsibility for me?" The entire ballroom gasped again. Take responsibility? What am I supposed to take responsibility for? I wailed in despair. "You kissed me, you drank the wine, you deceived me yourself." "You said I had kidney problems," he mumbled, his voice full of resentment. "You said I was an aloof burden, you said you would never bring me home." Oh my God, he's listing my crimes. You ruined my reputation." He bent down, his forehead resting against mine again. "You have to pay for it with your entire life." Was he confessing his love or demanding payment? I didn't know. My mind was reeling. I only knew that Lily Lee, standing opposite, had turned from green to pale, then to purple. She looked at me, looked at Daniel Carter, then at the two fathers happily discussing wedding dates. You're all crazy." The green tea bitch let out a shrill scream, then covered her face and ran out of the ballroom, crying. "Good, she's gone," Mr. Carter waved his hand. "Jasmine, you see, the trash has been taken out. Now this puppy," Mr. Carter patted Daniel Carter's back, who was still slumped on my shoulder. "He's allergic to alcohol. After 2 glasses, he'll probably sleep for a full day. Can you take him home for me?" I panicked. "How can I take him home?" "You're his fiancé," Mr. Carter argued vehemently. "That's right," my father chimed in. "Jasmine, take Daniel home carefully. This is an opportunity to build your relationship." Two fathers openly selling off their child. I looked at Daniel Carter, who was almost unconscious on me. The strong scent of wine mingled with his familiar minty cologne. I gritted my teeth. "All right, I'll take him home." An hour later, I was struggling with the burden that was Daniel Carter in his Maserati. It took me 15 minutes to drag him out of the ballroom. He clung to me like a leech. It took another 10 minutes to find Ms. Lynn, who was secretly watching the drama from a corner, to get his car keys and home address. A penthouse in Starlight River. Ms. Lynn handed me the keys, her eyes still wishing me luck. "Assistant King." "No, future Mrs. Carter, you've had a tough time." I really had a tough time. This drunk man was usually cold, but when he was drunk, he was incredibly clingy. As I drove, I had to keep prying his hand off the gear shift. "Dumb bear," he mumbled. "I'm not dumb bear, I'm Jasmine King," I snapped, trying to focus on the road. Jasmine," he changed his address. "Don't drive so fast, it makes me dizzy." "You shut up." "Jasmine," he suddenly turned to me, his eyes hazy, looking at me. "Do you hate me that much?" I froze. "I hate you because you're Daniel Carter," I said, my voice tinged with hurt. "Is there anything else?" I pouted. "You tricked me, you were Zane. You knew I was dumb bear, you knew everything. You just stood there and watched me act like an idiot. You even made me do all sorts of things." I'm sorry." Did I hear that right? He's sorry. I'm sorry, he repeated, his voice faint. I didn't mean to trick you. I didn't mean to. He closed his eyes. When you spilled coffee on me, I just thought, this girl is really interesting. Then, when you gave me that strange object. You shut up right there, I yelled. At that time, I just thought you were really silly, he chuckled softly. But then I didn't know you were my dumb bear. So when did you know? That night, he said, after security reported that intern Jasmine King entered the programming forum. Did I know who Dumb Bear was? No, I just suspected. He shook his head. I just saw that Dumb Bear was also online that day, also talking about an encounter with a CEO. The tone was exactly like yours, so I decided to test it. The blind date, he said, was when I asked my dad to call your dad. I slammed on the brakes. The car stopped abruptly. What? I turned to look at him. It was you. You arranged it on purpose. He winced from the sudden stop. Drive carefully, fiancé. Who's your fiancé? I was furious. So, from beginning to end, you were treating me like a performing monkey. No, he suddenly took my hand. I just wanted to confirm. Confirm what? Confirm if the dumb bear who called me an iceberg, stone-faced, and kidney-challenged was you. He smiled, a drunk, innocent smile. My heart was pounding so fast. Why? Because I found you. You. I didn't know what to say. This scoundrel, he wasn't just lying, he was scheming. He knew who I was, but he didn't expose me. He just let me act all cute with Zane, and then let me insult Daniel Carter. So you made me your assistant to be close to me. This time, his voice was very serious. I couldn't let my dumb bear stay there. But you also took revenge on me. I glared at him. That, he chuckled. The salty coffee was hard to drink, but your kiss was sweet. My face flushed again. I started the car. You shut up, you're drunk. I'm drunk, he nodded, but I'm telling the truth. I took him up to his penthouse apartment, a minimalist, cold apartment just like his office. I struggled for a long time before finally managing to heave him onto the giant sofa. Phew, I panted. Done, I'm leaving now. Just as I turned around, don't go, a hand grabbed my wrist. Daniel Carter had opened his eyes, his hazy eyes looking at me. Don't go, Jasmine, he used Zane's voice, a soft, pleading voice. Stay with me. I have to go home, my dad. Your dad, he chuckled. Your dad is busy arranging the wedding date with my dad now. He pulled me. I lost my balance, falling onto him. I was in that damned face-to-face position again. Daniel Carter, you, let go. No, he stubbornly said, his arms tightening around my waist. What if someone kidnaps you if you leave? No one's going to kidnap me. Let go. No, he stared at me intently. Jasmine, do you really hate me that much? He asked the question again, this time with a more hurt tone. I froze. I hated him. I hated CEO Carter, stone-faced, cold, autocratic. But I utterly melted for Zane, warm, smart, funny, and the two were one person. I don't know, I admitted honestly. Then, he whispered, I'll let you verify again. Verify? I hadn't even finished my sentence when he kissed me. This was a gentle kiss. His lips were still hot, but there was no longer the bitter taste of wine, only the refreshing mint and a hint of something sweet. He wasn't aggressively claiming territory, he was just there, and I didn't push him away. I slowly closed my eyes. I think I was drunk too. The next morning, I woke up to the smell of coffee. I opened my eyes. I was lying on the sofa, covered with a thin blanket. My head was splitting. Daniel Carter? I sat up quickly. Where is he? You're awake, I turned. Daniel Carter stood at the kitchen bar, wearing a white shirt and dress pants. His hair was slightly messy, not slicked back. He looked more like Zane. Your coffee, Assistant King. He handed me a cup. I looked at him warily. Are you sober? The drunkenness is gone. Well, he took a sip of his coffee. Thanks for last night. My face flushed. I was just following Mr. Carter's advice. I know, he smiled. I picked up the coffee cup, intending to drink. Wait, I said. Yesterday you said fiancé. Were you serious? I was serious. He cut me off, his voice extremely serious. But I won't force you. I know I lied to you. You have the right to be angry, you can refuse. I looked at him, but he continued, I won't give up. Even if you hate Daniel Carter, Zane will still pursue his dumb bear. My heart pounded wildly. Drink your coffee, he said. I looked at the coffee, took a sip. I spat it out immediately. Salty. Daniel Carter, you put salt in my coffee. He stood there, smiling casually. Why? I wailed, are you getting revenge on me? No, he shook his head. He stepped forward, bent down, and lightly kissed my lips where the salty coffee had just been. I'm just verifying, he whispered. Verifying what? I mumbled. Verifying if, he licked his lips, this salty taste, or was the taste from last night sweeter? I was about to hit him when my phone pinged. It was a message from Zane. Zane, fiancé, you're fired from your position as assistant king. I was stunned. Huh, you? I looked up at Daniel Carter. He was smiling. My phone pinged again. Zane, you have a new job starting today. Zane as Mrs. Carter. The end.